Hi guys, Mythical here, welcome to the last round of the AOR Formula C League, and today I'm at the Nurburgring. Now, last race in Silverstone, I didn't finish the first race. I didn't even participate in the first race because I wasn't able to take part in the race. I disconnected from qualifying, which was really a bit frustrating, I suppose you could say, because I did think that I had the pace to get on pole. But there was about 6 people racing, and today there's only 4. But in the second race, I finished in first position. It was a very tough race to actually win because although I had the pace, I found it very difficult to get trying to get past Atticus, and he had to make a mistake before I actually got past him. And that was actually the same with Wookie Pete as well. He made a mistake at turn 2, I believe. So I won the race, but yeah, it was I was very fortunate to win the race, which hopefully today I can win both races. Again, there's only 4 people, so again, not really good turnout. Obviously, I don't think Saturday night's probably the ideal, day to run this league, but I suppose you could say people have signed up, so people have signed up and they know it's Saturday, but people go out, so yeah, that's probably the reason why there is a low turnout. But I think the turnout's not been that good since probably the Spain race, where we had about 8 people, 9 people. So anyway, less of the negativity. Hopefully I can have a good result here today. It's a track I don't really like, but I got used to it with a bit of practice, and I was actually feeling positive. I know I had good pace coming into it, so hopefully I can get pole and take both wins. But anyway, coming to the final corner, and this was probably one of the strongest points of my lap, but towards the line, and I do a 47.8, which puts me in pole position. I was about a second ahead of Wookie Pete, so that was decent, but hopefully I can get a good start. As the green light goes, and I do one of my customary starts where I roll forward and then stop because I realised that I could risk jumping the start, so I lost the position to Wookie Pete straight away, which was frustrating. And now I've got a car in my mirrors. I can see, I think it's McLaren Dan, but there's a car to my side as well, but he's gone now, which I think was Matthew D. So just following now Wookie Pete round and trying to get past him for first position, which is going to be hard because he's a very good, challenging racer to get past, as you'll find out in a bit. But trying to get close to Wookie Pete, but the gap ain't really shortened at the minute. But on lap 2, and I closed up to Wookie Pete, but so did his teammate close up to me, who is Matthew, and he was trying to go round the outside, and I was just hoping I didn't touch him. I think I did touch him a little bit, but it didn't cause any problems. But then I lost the car on that turn, which is turn 3. So I lost it, and Matthew D got the position, which was a little bit frustrating. But on to lap 3, and Matthew D does the same thing as I did and lost the car, and I managed to just avoid him, which thank God I did, because obviously it could have cost me a bit of time with damage, but thankfully I missed him. And then on lap 5, trying to follow Wookie Pete round again, caught up to Wookie Pete, and obviously no DRS in these Formula C cars, but I've got the slipstream and I've got a really good run. I think he's carrying more downforce than me, so I have to go around the outside, got more speed, but a bit too deep and a bit too wide, and Wookie Pete kept the position. And lap 7 now, so again, still trying to get past Wookie Pete, going round the outside, but way better speed into the corner from Wookie Pete, into turn 10, now turn 11, and a little bit of understeer. I think dirty air really affected me there. But on lap 8 now, again, I brake way too late, and I was trying to shift down the gears. I locked up, hit Wookie Pete, but thankfully it didn't hit his car off or anything. But yeah, I was a bit too banzai really, carrying too much speed, and I was frantically trying to shift down the gears to get the car stopped, but it didn't really help because it touched him anyway. But lap 9 now, and again still trying to get past Wookie Pete, but as you see, his car lagged, and yeah, I don't really know what to say. As you can see now, slow motion. yeah, the car just lags right into my car, split second, and even really with the slow motion you can't really make that out much, but yeah, you're going to see now how long it took me to get to the pits. So now about 3 minutes into that lap, and I'm getting pushed now round by McLaren Dan, which is very nice of McLaren Dan to push me around this circuit only halfway through, coming into the Schumacher S's, which so frustrating really, you know, how I lost the tyre, but I could only go about 20 miles an hour, 30 mile an hour around the old track, which obviously is snail's pace, so that was frustrating, and it was just taking ages, and again skipping on to another part, which another minute later, 5 minutes this lap has taken to get around the track, and again McLaren Dan's still pushing me along, trying to get to the pits, as I got lapped by Matthew D for I think it was like the third time, which obviously is not very good. Oh, it was very painful to try and go at this pace, trying to get round to the pits, but thankfully I managed to get to the pits, and then I put on the wrong tyre pressures were put on, and really it was for my actual GT3 race, the strategy, which it didn't really matter anyway because I was so far back behind the others, and yeah, that was race 1. Really weird incident with Wookie Pete, but it was actually enjoyable for the first 8 laps where we were having a little bit of a battle trying to fight it out for first. And I'd just like to say I wasn't not showing my true pace, because they did think I wasn't actually showing my pace, but I actually was. I was going flat out trying to get near him, and for some reason I just couldn't get past him. I don't know if it was because I was a bit cautious on the brakes, but yeah, I think that's really maybe why I didn't get past him. I'm not that aggressive really trying to make overtaking moves, which is probably one of the downfalls I suppose as me as a driver, that I'm not as aggressive as other people, and I think that's really to do with confidence though, as I suppose you could say. Really, you got to have the confidence to pull off the moves, and sometimes, you know, you're just not in that zone, and to be honest I didn't really feel in that zone for overtaking in that race. I think maybe Nurburgring GT3 was playing in my mind a little bit, but you know, that I didn't want to have a collision with him and ruin his race, but you know, that's just the way it goes, and I think hopefully this race I can win, but I've got to really try and have a good start as well, because the start really all season's been very poor. I don't know why, I just seem to have a slow reaction to the lights. I think I always try and go when it turns green, and you've got to sort of go that split second before, but obviously it's very hard to judge because you know, it's risking jumping the start, and that's what I don't want to do, because if you jump the start I'll get a penalty of about, well, a pit stop penalty, so you know, it's really race over for me if I participate in that penalty. So yeah, I've really got to try and just hopefully have a good start and keep Wookie Beat at pay for race 2. But anyway, again, I've not really commentated over this qualifying lap, but coming towards the end of the qualifying lap, and I did a 1:48. So yeah, it was only about 2 tenths off Wookie Pete, so that was not really a good qualifying lap. It was obviously not my best qualifying lap, and thankfully I managed to get pole, so hopefully I can have a much better start as we're on the grid now. Green lights go. Thankfully for once I don't roll at the start, but I lose a position to Wookie Pete, so he had much better reactions to me on the lights. Matthew D to the right hand side and McLaren Dan to the left, so I'm really just trying not to make contact with both of them as I go towards turn 1, into turn 1 now, so trying to go around the outside of Wookie Pete, and there's a little bit of contact there, so I have to slow down a bit and just trying to make sure I don't lose the position to McLaren Dan, who I believe is still on the right hand side. I think it's McLaren Dan, it might be Matthew D, I'm not too sure, but I think it was McLaren Dan as Wookie Pete goes wide, and I'm not really gaining an advantage on him, which is a bit disappointing, but I need to really get past Wookie Pete as soon as possible, because as you've seen in race 1, if he lags again, it's just so that was really frustrating what happened in race 1. But on lap 3, and now still behind Wookie Pete, as I have been for most of this race weekend, but I'm going to try and dive it up the inside going into turn 10, and he's on the outside, and he really did well to keep the position there. Seemed to get much better exit than me, but running down into turn 12 now, and I've got a much better run. As I mentioned earlier, Wookie Pete said to me he's running more downforce, so I'm going to have more speed on the straights. As he sort of gets a bit too deep into the corner and we have a little bit of contact, then he runs off, so I should have a better chance of getting past him in towards turn 15, but it's not an overtaking place, so I've just got to try and get good traction out of turn 15, and he seems to get a little bit of a better exit actually. But now I'm going to have the slipstream, and again you can see so much speed, but he commits late to defend the defensive line he was going to take, and I had to back out of that to make sure I weren't going to rear end him. Now into turn 1, and he defends well to be fair, so into turn 2, and you can't really make an overtaking move here because it's so tight, and you've got to really rely on the person to make a mistake. Exiting turn 4 now, run wide there, and Wookie Pete is still within touching distance, but I'm not really gaining on him that much. Hopefully I can have a good exit out of turn 6, I believe, which is, yeah, turn 6, so get a good run out of turn 6 actually. And he's committing to the inside, he's going defensive for the Dunlop curve. Gonna have to try and go around the outside. This is gonna be my best bet. I think I might have this move done. He's still to my side, but running up towards the Schumacher S's, and I've got the move done. Finally I've got past Wookie Pete, and that was such a relief because, as you'll see, crossed the line, and I won the race by about 15 seconds I believe, so it was a very good performance, and that was a good way to end the season. It's a shame that not many people really took part in the races towards the end of the season, because I think the first 2 races were very enjoyable with a sort of a full grid, but obviously it being Saturday night, it's not really the most ideal time for people to participate in with other things they're doing. But yeah, I don't even know what happened in terms of the championship, who won. I believe I did, but the championship tables weren't updated after round 6, so I don't really know what went on there. But anyway, I'd like to say thanks to everyone who's watched these Formula C videos. Until next time, thanks for watching, and goodbye.